maybe this is me being detached emotionally, little by little from the season.
The Rays have sucked away our soul. They've killed us with their mediocre play and trades and moves. And
I mean,
it's even if you're the hardest core of Rays fans,
you are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another edition of Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember those early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till now, they've gone to the playoffs, but there's still baseball remaining. So grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on the X machine and the Instagram machine at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play just $5.
Well, we've had a busy week thus far. The Rays facing tough competition, as is per usual lately and going down the stretch of September. But we had Evan Kolosky on the program earlier this week, Jack Sadegan, Montgomery Biscuits AA broadcaster, on the pod earlier this week. And now we're going to hear from the fans out there. Mailbag episode. We love it. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. And this first one comes from Michael Townley. He says, now that the season is winding down, who would you say are the players who surpassed whatever you expected from them?
Michael, thank you so much for writing to us. In a positive question. That's very nice. I think we both have the same name, right? Like, there's not a lot of people that we can pick from here.
It is pretty slim pickings because most everybody on the roster has just hovered that range of, okay, about what we expected, or underwhelmed, whether it be performance, injury, combination thereof. Unfortunately,
yeah.
And that's unfortunately, that's 71 and 74, among other reasons.
Exactly. I mean, we can't say, a lot of people have overperformed, because then that would be kind of sad about what the record would be. On the contrary, it's so many players have underperformed this season that's why they are what they are, 71 and 74. But I think it's a slam dunk.
Okay.
Maybe people out there don't agree, and that's fine. I want to hear you in the comments. Maybe you don't agree, Kevin, but I think it's
give me that slam dunk. I want to hear your slam dunk.
I think it's Edwin Uceta. It's 36 and a third innings in 25 games. He has a K per 9 of 12.63, walks per 9 1.49. He has an ERA of 1.49, WAR already at 1.5. It's sick. I mean, a 37% K rate. It's unreal. I mean, opposing average 176. And my favorite stat for a pitcher, especially for relievers, left on base percentage, the strand rate, 85%. And his story too. This guy has been bumping around from the Dodgers to the Diamondbacks to the Mets. Finally gets to the Rays, and then he has a Rays type season for a reliever that nobody saw coming. I feel like he is by far, hands down, gold medalist in the exceeded expectations category.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, or whenever Uceta was acquired and brought to the organization, I don't know if we had it on our bingo card that, this guy would have and be one of the more productive relievers on the Rays and lately throughout baseball as well. And I guess we see a little fearlessness from him as he beans Nick Castellanos on purpose on the road and merits a multiple game suspension. Kevin Cash gets suspended as well. But I think what stands out about Uceta, and I agree with you, although, we've seen it time and time again where the Rays acquire a little-known reliever, or a pitcher who's bounced around from team to team, organization to organization, minors, majors, minors, whatever it be, and they strike gold. They have the secret sauce to turn this guy into a productive big leaguer, but the sidearm deception that he gets, and the pitch is labeled a sinker, but it almost looks like a rising sinker based on his arm slot and how he releases the ball. Combine that with a 91-mile-per-hour changeup, which he tosses at the bottom of the zone and gets a ton of tail on pretty much all of his pitches. You can see why he's been as effective as he's been. And that's what you need. You can't just have, I know that the Rays like to focus on fastball slider guys, which is sure, but you also need guys who have different types of deliveries and arm action and heights and release angles and extension. And it kind of ties in with, if we're going to throw out another honorable mention, maybe a Manny Rodriguez, perhaps, because he's a guy who really hadn't been all that stable until he got to the Rays organization. And he likewise throws very hard, similar to Uceta, but he does it in a 5'10" body with a lot of effort and head jerking to get his velocity to where it is. I just hope that doesn't lead to injury issues in the future. But really, that's what we can say. It's been a couple relievers that have stepped up to the plate.
And the bullpen has been, really the shining spot for this Rays team for the last 2.5 months, maybe 3 months. So it makes sense that the exceeded expectations winners come from that. But before I get to why it's awesome that they're targeting more than a fastball slider kind of guy, but can we hit on the Philly thing for just a little bit?
Sure, go ahead. Hit on the Philly situation. Because there's really no other reason to talk about the Rays winning or losing a game at this juncture, because it doesn't matter unless, as my premonition hopefully becomes correct, that they win every game to now up until the end of the season. They're not going to make the playoffs. But yeah, that was a notable factoid from the game.
Maybe this is me being detached emotionally little by little from the season.
The Rays have sucked away our soul. They've killed us with their mediocre play and trades and moves. And it's even if you're the hardest core of Rays fans, you can't tell me that you're watching every single inning of every game. If you are, I feel for you. But more likely the case is you're just waiting until Thursday night and Saturday morning and Sunday morning so you can watch the old footy ball.
Look, maybe it's because of that, but I see no problem with Harper getting upset, and I see no problem with Uceta getting the suspension. I see no problem with Kevin Cash getting a 1-game suspension. And I see no problem with Nick Castellanos saying, what the bleep, dude? You're acting like a child, dude. Like, I have no issue with any of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
If this was switched, we would be happy that Yandy Diaz got up in the pitcher's face. We would be happy that Caballero from second started, going towards the mound and saying, hey, what's up? We would be so pumped up because of that. And I think it would just be hypocritical for us to be like, oh, Harper, man, Nick Castellanos, and Uceta, why is he getting 3 games? No, it's all fine. The suspensions are fine for Cash and Uceta. And Harper did what he needed to do, and Castellanos did what he needed to do. Okay, but parentheses here. Harper, you had a clear shot. So you acted like a big dog, and that's fine and good for you, but you had a clear shot, and then you kind of, you slowed down the pace there a little bit. So I don't know what he was going for, but still, I think Rays fans that are trying to dunk on the Phillies for acting the way that they did, I think Rays fans are wrong.
Yeah, that's just the small percentage or whatever percentage it is of Seal Clapper Rays fans. Like, there's really no defense for what unfolded in what the Rays did. And sometimes it's a little wishy-washy. Oh, he didn't hit him purposefully. This was pretty cut and dry as it could be, unless you are just the craziest Rays fan out there and have the idea that no Rays player, no Rays coach can do wrong in any situation. Right. I think that's where we're at with that. So, also, I guess if I'll throw out another honorable mention,
sure.
Ben Rortvedt, perhaps. I know his numbers aren't earth-shattering, but on the bingo card, I probably didn't expect him to be coming into the season and acquired right before the season that he would be the primary catcher and have over 100 games to his name. And his career numbers or his season numbers this year are better than his career numbers. So the fact that he's been able to hold his head above water to this point is notable, but it's not like he's going out and pulling a Travis d'Arnaud or a Sean Murphy or something like that. But
no, not at all. But I think it's a good pick, though. I mean, when you're having a 233 average and a 642 OPS as a Rays catcher,
yes.
Hey, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for giving us some sort of hope. That's all we want. This is the bar set as a Rays fan since, more years than I care to admit now. Mm-hmm. Look, that's good. That's good as a Rays catcher. Like, we don't have a lot of good catching history. So what Ben did, I think you're right. I think he would make the podium of exceeded expectations.
If you wish Ben Rortvedt could do more, just look at the ghost of Kelly Shopik. Look at the ghost of Jose Molino. Look at the ghost of so many other Rays backstops.
Remember Anthony Ben Boom?
Yeah, there's been a lot of those. Yeah. The amount of catchers who've been unproductive offense the Rays compared to catchers who've been productive offensively with the Rays is like 20-1.
Yeah, you're right on target.
Something like that. All right. We have more to discuss. Great question. Fun question there from Michael. But first, we have to tell the audience something very important.
Kevin, I know you're a happy man because football is back in season. How you feeling? How are the Colts doing?
Well, they lost their first game, but I think they'll bring some punchy offense, unlike the Rays this year.
Well, I hope so for your sake, man. And you know what? When you're seeing that offense just click on all cylinders, I know you're going to have PrizePicks on your phone because it's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Okay, so you can put your members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. I mean, that's 15 minutes is probably like 2 downs in NFL, right? With a
something like that.
break.
Yeah, you're on the right track, depending on TV breaks and so forth.
So download the app today. PrizePicks. Use code LOCKEDON MLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDON MLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You get Ulises S. Grant if you just play Abe Lincoln. How about that? You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. Well, that's because it's America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you now through September 22nd. All, and I mean all, FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need there is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all of Sunday, September 15th, pre-game moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting Thursday, September 12th. View your account page now to learn more about your boost. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, this next question comes from Craig Kurtzman, and the topic is, has the Rays trade magic gone away? And bear with me as I run through this email here. Craig says, recent returns for big-name players they have traded away has not helped the team. As of now, the only person still around since the Blake Snell trade is Cole Wilcox, who just hit AAA. Also, Jake Cronenworth was traded to the Padres for Renfroe and Xavier Edwards. Renfroe has been a journeyman, and Xavier Edwards is now a potential star for the Marlins. Now let's look at the Glasnow trade. Some say if the Dodgers didn't have Tyler, they would not be a playoff team at this point. So far, DeLuca is a slap hitter who is also not an elite center field defender, more of a corner outfielder, but still a sub-200 hitter. Pepio has the potential to be a good 3 or 4 starter in rotation, but time will tell. Maybe the recent trades with lower-level prospects could help down the road, but the Rays' offense woes go back to poor trades, and the Rays don't develop hitters well. They can develop arms with the best of anyone, but again, every year this team lacks offense. I get the Wander situation sets them back for years, but too many other trades lately have shown to yield little to no return for offense. So Craig asks, is the Rays trade magic gone?
Craig, thank you for the email, because just that email itself tells me that you are invested in being a Rays fan. So that's really cool. And that's kind of the community that we've built here at Locked On Rays. Craig, no, the Rays magic is not gone. The issue with it is, which I think it's very, I can see where you're coming from, but I think you're having a lens of just looking at the ones that haven't worked out.
Right.
Because in that same breath of traits that you mentioned, couldn't we have mentioned the Tommy Pham, the Randy Arozarena, the getting of Isaac Paredes,
Junior Caminero?
Those are 3. That's 4. So like, I think, yes, those were bad traits. Those were bad traits you mentioned. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think you're just focusing on the bad ones. No, I don't think the Rays magic has gone at all. The issue also, that's one thing. The other thing is the last year and a half, I think the Rays have moved on to, especially this trade deadline, honestly, like 90% of this trade deadline, they focused on replenishing the farm system rather than getting guys that can help right now to the team. And that's why it feels like the trades have been for naught. Yeah. Because when you see you're giving away guys and, you're just getting like little clips on Twitter of 10 seconds.
You're getting low A, high A prospects who you're not going to see for
give
a couple years, who you've never heard of previously. It doesn't mean anything. All you know is that Eflin's not on the team, Arozarena's not on the team, and Paredes isn't on the team, although we knew of, Chris Morel a little bit, but he didn't have quite the same
punch,
notoriety, gumption as Paredes, unfortunately.
Am I missing something from Craig's email?
No, I think you're right on the mark there. You're not going to win every trade. The Rays do win a lot of them, but you're not going to win every trade. And I think it's harder to win trades now because I think for a while, a decade and a half ago, the Rays had a market inefficiency with the analytics and the wizards, the nerds, whatever you want to qualify. They had that edge that other teams hadn't yet gotten a hold of, but as other organizations poach and steal and copycat what the Rays are doing, it's more of a level playing field with evaluating players and prospects, I would say, to some extent. Now, the Wander thing, I think sometimes we just don't emphasize enough how much it has set the franchise back on the field and as part of a mindset and a mood. because once you take a potential Hall of Famer out of the lineup, essentially forever, a guy that you would expected to be in the lineup for the next 10, 12 plus years, and then who are you going to replace for him is a difficult ask. And I think Klosky had brought this up because not only did you lose Wander, but because of that situation, no disrespect to Jose Caballero, but you had to trade a solid bat, a power bat in Luke Raley, who presently has a 126 OPS plus this year, for a light hitting, defensive minded shortstop who steals a lot of bases. And that hurts matters. The other thing I want to highlight from the email is if there is somebody out there who is saying that the Dodgers would not be a playoff team if not for Glasnow, I want to meet that person. I want to engage with that person because the Dodgers, they're not like just a couple games above 500 and going to sneak in there. No, they are 86 and 59. You could make the argument maybe that without Shohei Ohtani, they wouldn't be a playoff contender. But Tyler Glasnow, he moves the needle, but not 15, 20 game swing. Let's not be crazy here. In fact, if you want to go further with it,
sure.
Pepio, who I think we might be doing a disservice by just, hey, you're number 3, number 4. I mean, I guess it depends on who you have in your rotation. He might have number 2 potential on him when it's all said and done. But I know he hasn't thrown as many innings as Glasnow or had as many strikeouts, but he's pretty toe-to-toe with the rest of the numbers and metrics if we just want to look at ERA.
I agree with you on Pepio not being 3 or 4. I think it's more like 2 or 3. I think that's the ceiling. Like he could be that guy. And regarding Tyler Glasnow, I mean, yes, he's had a you've probably heard of Tonal because it's the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. It's powered by AI, which means that Tonal learns what every rep that you do so that it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Okay, this is basically what the race front office has for every player. Like, all right, this is the swing path. This is what you're looking for. Well, Tonal can do that for your muscles, man. That's awesome. It learns your movements. It provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. And you know what? It's really nice to have an AI companion always with you while you're getting your sweat on, because it's like having a personal trainer at home, which is pretty nice. And it's for everybody, from professional athletes to the mom of 3. Tonal is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. So right now, Tonal is offering listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. So that's Tonal, TONAL.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. Again, TONAL, Tonal.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off today.
We also have to tell the audience to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on the YouTubes or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Maybe top 6 Cy Young, but without the injuries. But of course, he got injured. And he was an all-star, so that's pretty cool. But yes, like you said, like, I mean, you can't say that they're there because of Tyler Glasnow. Has he helped?
He's like a 2.5 WAR player.
But there's a guy in that same bleeping lineup who's going to break history by being the first guy 50-50. Like, let's slow down here with the Tyler Glasnow. He's awesome. Tyler is awesome, and I wish we had him. And I wish we would have said, you know what, we're going to pay for him. But you know what? Maybe the race front office was a little bit more realist than all of us were about 2024.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And I think that, look, that Glasnow trade, I think, is going to be a win-win at the end of the day. The Dodgers get their man. They get their, a guy who has very unique talent. But the Rays also have to consider the salary and the fact that he could not stay healthy in a Rays uniform. I mean, Pepio this season alone has basically gone toe-to-toe with Glasnow's biggest season as far as innings pitched in a Rays uniform. So it was it was dangerous territory you were getting to. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Rays throw in Margot to as
they did.
basically a salary dump? So
salary dump. I mean, you did have to. You did have to, I think, give the Dodgers $2 million, and then I think that goes to the Twins now because they got Margot in the end. But regardless, you open up a roster spot. You gave somebody else. You open up. Your financial books now are a little bit less heavy than they were. I agree with you. I think it's a win-win. Maybe it's not a win right now for the Rays because DeLuca, unfortunately, has not really popped off with the bat, but he has shown that he can be a really, really good corner outfielder defensively.
I would just like to see, fast forward a couple years, who pitches more innings in the next 5 years? Is it Glasnow or is it Pepio? That might be a question to bring up. And I think, even if DeLuca doesn't turn out to be what we want or expect, I think based on Pepio's potential, you have enough there to say, oh, it's not a total lost trade. Because this guy, I mean, I'm not going to go into all the numbers, but just the fact that he is blowing 97-mile-per-hour fastballs past hitters. And
you know what? If you have numbers in front of you, let the people hear them. Let the people.
I do not have them in front of me. I just have scouting notes here. But the fastball that he can locate up in the zone or on the corners, and then a changeup that he'll throw to righties, and 91-mile-per-hour slider as well. So he gets guys swinging and missing with the fastball and freezes them with the changeup. We've seen it time and time again.
And he has gone 5-6 shutty out. I mean, I think he's got definitely the ceiling to be a potential 2, which is saying a lot because when you're looking at the 2025 pitching staff and you have guys like Springs and McClanahan and Rasmussen, hopefully.
Boz. I mean, you theoretically have like 4 number 2s and a number 1 in McClanahan.
It's sick. I mean, hopefully they are all as healthy as they can be. Hopefully they are not injured during the season, but they're injured. I mean, that's going to happen. They're human beings, and they're throwing, like you said, 91-mile-an-hour changeups, 91-mile-an-hour sliders. They're going to get hurt, people. Like that's just what's going to happen. I know we have one more, but maybe we can leave it for Friday's ep.
We could do that if you want.
Yeah. I think it deserves its time.
Okay. That's fair. All right. We'll leave it for
So Rachel,
Friday's
we're sorry, but Rachel, we're going to get it to you on Friday.
Yeah. Without going into Rachel's question, I'll just allude to it. In very partially answering Rachel's question, I'll just note this. As you've noted many times before, Ulises, the Rays are 28th in homers, 28th in runs scored, 27th in batting average, 26th in OPS. So that's where you're probably going to have to start when we get to Rachel's question.
That's right. And if you were on YouTube, guess what? You got to see a sneak peek of it. If you're not on YouTube, what are you doing? We got stills of Neander and Stu Sternberg saying that you should subscribe. That's pretty fun. You got Kevin Cash saying feels good to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's always fun. And, we got a ton of things here. The community is always alive, Kevin. I don't know if you've seen the comment box lately, but I love it. People are like replying to each other. There's like back and forth. There's like a rapport building between YouTube users. It's pretty cool.
I'm just hoping that there'll be a lot of that in the offseason with hopefully the Rays making a lot of moves and maneuvers because this current roster isn't going to cut it. I think by some guys being healthy, that should help, but more has to be done. I'll leave it at
this. Ain't it.
No, it's not. All right. In the meantime, we'll get to Rachel's question on Friday, plus much more. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.